Hello, everybody.
Hello.
What's going on, guys?
Let me close this down. Okay. So, hi, everybody. This is StarCast, a Star Citizen podcast, and tonight we have a full house. I had no more room to put anybody else. So, tonight we are joined with, we'll start in the upper right corner. Pancakes is back.
Hello.
And we got Perfekt Nerd, Trendane, and our center square tonight is CoreofexisteNz. Awesome. Awesome sauce. So, what's going on new, everybody?
I'm fantastic.
Very excited tonight.
It's a new week.
It is a new week.
It is.
A whole new world.
It's beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and just do a real quick run. Whoop, that was weird. Rundown of the show. We are going to be doing a question and answer session at the end, so if you want to leave a question, please type it in and put it in brackets. So just type in bracket question in bracket, and then the moderator will be able to grab them. Yeah, just like Trendane's doing it. The moderator will be able to grab them and put them into the question thing for later. So we'll get to questions as we get going. Got a lot to talk about tonight, so I guess we might as well get started with the first topic, which is revisit the live show. So last week they tried to do a live show and it went really badly, and we did a post bad live show that went badly for us too. So
It went fine for us.
yeah,
Our
well,
most
sort
in
of.
the air.
We had a little bit of a couple glitches there.
Not as many as they did.
Definitely not as many as they did.
We did those on purpose, just to make them feel better.
Make them feel better.
Sky High 109 says they like the ratio of beards to no beards.
I'll try better next
Yeah,
time.
we're trying to get Pancake a beard.
Isn't there, like, in every single city around the nation right now, there's like a Halloween superstore opening up somewhere? We should be able to find something. Or,
get one.
oh, that's much better.
Yeah. That was my Pancake for when Pancake disappeared.
Or just buy a wig. You know, buy a wig and put it at half-mast. But with regard to the live show, like we had talked about that night, you know, the people who were there at the audience and at the presentation, for them it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
As any of us who were trying to watch the live stream, that was the problem.
Right. It was pretty bad. So they need some streaming help over there at SIG.
But now, having watched the recording
Mm-hmm.
of the show, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Oh, it was pretty good. But there was so much stuff that we missed. I was like, oh, look at this. They didn't even show that. Because what we could do while the live stream was going on, you could rewind it back a little ways and let it play for a while. Then it would catch back up to where it was stuttering again. And then it just jumped really far ahead. And so we missed a bunch of that stuff when it jumped.
Yeah, it was kind of funny to see. I mean, you'd be like, oh, I just missed like a couple of minutes, and then when you go to rewatch it on the actual live stream, and you're like, was this in there? I missed this entire 20-minute segment about this particular thing.
Mhm.
That was my favorite ship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Show some clips over it.
For me, a lot of it seemed like, I mean, let me try that again in English, because it's the only language I speak. For me, it seemed like a lot of the show was mostly, honestly, stuff they could have just not live streamed to us. They could have just showed it as a recorded thing on YouTube or whatever later on. It was
Right.
There was some PowerPoint presentations, but like parts of it, it was good to have the thing. Like Core, I know you were really excited about the organizational charts and stuff, and that would have been great to see live. But most of the rest of it was just kind of videos that would have been just fine pre-recorded on YouTube. From my
Yep. No, completely agree.
Now, what they did say was that next time it's going to actually be a con, like a convention, and they're going to.
Germany.
Oh well, then I'm not going.
That's where the votes are
yes.
going.
Yes.
Did you guys see that?
Oh really? I did not see that part.
If
Go
you
ahead,
look-
fill me in.
If you look on the 21 or 22 million page, on the 22 million page, like at the bottom they have, where should we have the next Citizen Con?
Yeah, I saw that.
I think
I
it's
voted
there.
And it's like...
Toronto's
like-
okay. That's right across the lake for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toronto would be fine. Even like LA or Las Vegas would be doable, but Berlin?
Did you
Can't do
set
that,
them up for that there, Core?
Everyone, I'm from the Netherlands, so I'm fine with it.
That's what I'm saying. It's just
man.
across the lake for you,
Way to
too.
go.
The way that it is like everyone from Central Europe and everyone from around Russia, and that's still a hell of a lot of players with deep pockets.
Mm-hmm.
So when they see that post, they're like, Berlin.
Yeah.
And Berlin is just such a centralized city in Europe. I mean, you don't really think to go there, but again, it's dead in the center. So it makes the most sense for Europeans to vote for that. And then, of course, you've got the English people that decide, yes, let's do it in London. And you're like, you're wasting about 23% of the votes on London. We're already on 37% for Berlin.
Yeah. And how hard is it for England to get over to London? I mean London to get over to Germany.
It's about a 40-minute flight, and it costs like what? 40
And they got the channel
bucks.
now, so they just drive if they have to.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad.
Where does the tunnel come out?
It comes out in France.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
There's
Mary.
two.
Don't the English people? Don't they they absolutely despise the French? Don't they?
You've also got one that comes out in Rotterdam, but it's more
Oh well,
expensive.
it's more well.
Well, yeah, you end up in the Netherlands. Where would you rather be?
I would rather be in the Netherlands.
Me
There
too.
you go. More
Yeah,
expensive.
same here.
It's also
Worth
the
it.
older of the two that requires more maintenance.
What else did they talk about during this live show release that we didn't really talk about last week, or that we somehow missed? Anybody
Redacted happy birthday.
Or the redacted,
Redacted
happy
happy-
birthday.
They talked a lot about the planet side stuff. They showed a lot of stuff with going through the companies that were actually doing a lot of that work. And I gotta say, I was a little shocked when they said they actually went for gold and said, yeah, we're gonna have 105 star systems at launch, and each of those is going to have 3 to 4 planets. And so they have to make what was
a
it,
lot of
400,
planet sides.
500 planet-side locations.
Yeah.
That's
I'll be
ballsy.
Are you seriously considering doing that?
Well, I'll be honest. They probably won't do. You'll see a little bit of copy and paste in that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you can't. Like, for instance, an outpost run by the UEE, might have some watchtowers placed in a different location, but it's still going to be the same size outpost. And I think that's something that we'll see a little bit. I mean, I don't think it'll be like Call of Duty, where the entire game is copy pasted into a new color scheme. But yeah, we will definitely see a little bit of that. But of course, when it comes to planets like Terra and the larger systems, I don't think we'll have any issues there.
Just the outlining ones. It makes sense because honestly, in that time period, we're talking 900 years from now, the way they could, I'm almost 100% sure you'll 3D print your facilities. Like they'll set up a scaffolding and it'll just print the place out. So there's probably only going to be a certain number of building types that work on this particular environment, and that they can just print that one out, and then the next environment it'd be very similar. So it makes sense.
Yeah,
It would
so they can
actually
use
be.
assets.
Yes, it would actually be very interesting if they just build a modular asset system where one guy just goes, I'm going to put this here and this here and this here, and then you might get a lot of diversity, even though it kind of looks the same.
All right. What else? Anything else?
The contest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Go
did
Or
you meet on
want to
this?
hold off on it?
Right, okay. Last thing on this topic about the planets is that the planets that are in Vandal space, the planets that are going to be in Banu space, and the ones that are going to be in Xi'an space, I don't think they'll be spending a lot of time on those because they might have plans for it, but I think they'll be focusing on the widely accessible planets at first. And I think
Yeah,
that'll-
they'll probably definitely focus on UEE space, at least to begin with, since that's where everybody's going to be spending the majority of their time. I think they will have their large kind of, I don't know, ambassadorial kind of planets for all of the... I don't know how else to put that. How else am I supposed to put that?
No, I'm not laughing at you.
What?
You're laughing about the comments in the thing, aren't you?
No. Geekdomo knows what I'm laughing about.
Somebody in the comments said said, holy crap, get that fifth guy a beard. So I got him a beard.
Stop moving, pancakes.
Yeah, sit still.
Okay.
Moving
All
around
right.
a beard here. Should have got him a nice dwarf one with some braids and stuff in it.
Okay. All right.
There we go. Perfect. Lovely.
You have to stand there. Stay still
Don't
for the
breathe.
entire podcast.
No, we're not being silly tonight at all. No. Wait till we get to the next topic. You're going to love this one.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, Perfect, you were saying?
I'm sorry, I totally derailed that conversation. I went off in left field. My bad.
What was I saying? Oh, right. So I think they'll probably just do like the major Xi'an planets and Banu and basically any kind of embassy-esque planets. The planets where they put they have people who are in contact with the UEE. Those are the planets that they're going to fill out first, and most likely, in terms of the fiction, a lot of those alien planets would be inaccessible to people from the UEE anyway.
Or maybe they're gonna argue it that like when you get there, you don't immediately find the settlement because you don't know what you're looking for. So you're basically landing, and you're just landing in a field, and you're like, "Well, this is fun," and you fly away again. I don't know.
We have no idea. Still speculating. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. Everybody go ahead and watch the live show yourself. It's just right up on Robert Space Industries. Just move that little tab thing over, a little button to scroll the slider over, and it's like the fourth or fifth topic. You can watch it. A lot of good stuff in there, so hopefully next year it'll be more exciting when we can probably go there. Toronto. Let's hope for Toronto. What do you think, Bill?
Berlin.
Fingers crossed.
Toronto would be great.
Come on, don't Europeans want to go to Las Vegas?
Yeah, really.
I would if it's in Las Vegas. I'd go, but then again, none of you voted for it, so.
I voted for Las Vegas.
Toronto's like the Las Vegas of Canada, you know. close enough.
And that's saying a lot, right? Las Vegas.
Oh my god, it's the most
Actually,
European of
I
the
think
Canadian
Niagara
cities.
Falls is more like the Las Vegas of
that's
Canada.
Montreal. It's the most European. of the
Niagara
cities.
Falls is like that. Let's have it Niagara Falls. It's even easier to get to
There
than
you go.
Toronto
There you go.
because
It's true.
Even
we don't
less
have to
far.
cross the border. It's probably going to be Berlin. So
It's
well.
gonna be Berlin.
Yeah, it's gonna.
But
be
now, did they say exactly that it will be whatever people voted for, or is it just they just said where would you guys like to see it and they could throw it
It'd
around?
be hilarious if they were trolling us.
They
they
were.
put it in like Bubblefuck, Pennsylvania, or something.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be in Scranton.
It's like terrible
I
Rust
think-
Belt town.
I think what they're doing is they're just trying to get a popularity vote, and then check out their options and realize it'll be way too fucking expensive
In Berlin.
and then
Yeah.
and then do a recast and not put Berlin in there.
Exactly.
All right, San Francisco it is.
Exactly. San Francisco, Austin, Texas. I could see
Oh,
those
you don't
being
want to do it
options.
here.
No.
It'd be just as expensive here.
Yeah.
Yeah, San Francisco would be ridiculous.
Austin would be great though. And then
Austin would be awesome. They should do it in Austin. It's
Yeah.
a
As
beautiful
long as
city.
they don't do it in summer.
right.
Yeah.
Austin in the dead of
Actually,
winter when it's
Austin's
80.
not that bad in summer.
Right. Well, my sister lives there, and it's like 110 as an average temperature. So,
Yeah,
Fine.
that's true.
yeah.
Which for fat sons of bitches like me is
And me.
very damned hot.
I have a thyroid problem, and if I get too hot, I blow up and die. Okay.
That sounds like a
Have you
problem.
done that before?
Close. Look at me now. Okay. Topic number 2 tonight. Space farts and refueling.
Mm.
Okay.
Space farts.
So before we get too much into this, the Ellis system is known for refueling, and what we're talking about is you can have, like, at the front of the Avenger, was it the Avenger? No, the Hornet. The front of the Hornet has those 2 fans, and people are always like, why are there fans in space? And what those fans are supposed to be for is compressing gas into a gas compressor. Oh, Pancakes is disappearing again.
1 second.
It's coming back.
Pictures.
There we go. Okay, we're good.
He now his chair is spinning. Okay, so the fans in the front of the Hornet are supposed to compress the gas down, and then you can refuel on the fly. So the Ellis
So it's
system,
like a reverse fart.
yeah, it's a reverse fart. It's like sucking the fart in and using it for like lighting a lighter.
Gotcha.
It'd probably
like-
stink really bad.
Brazilian fart sex.
Yeah, oh, none of that. Anyway, so yes, the Ellis system is known for its big gaseous clouds, And so that's why we thought we'd talk about space farts tonight. And Mr. Trendane, you are now starting to do audiobooks of the lore. Or at least
the narrations for the Galaxy Guides.
So tell us a little bit about that before we get into farting.
Good.
Yeah. It's a good segue, right?
I gotta on the fly.
No farting on the fly, because then you got your pants on backwards. Now, what happens is that the Ellis system has two primary gas giants. There's Walleye, which is the larger of the two, which is, according to the Galaxy Guide, is like one of the main pit stops for the Murray Cup Raceway. And it also is a primary refueling stop for what they term as any long-haul tankers that are making, or not long-haul tankers, but long-haul traders who are doing the run from Earth to Pinecone, which is the furthest planet out in the Ellis system, which has a lot of heavy minerals and whatnot. But Walleye is one of the first places that you go to fuel up for that trip. And there are some very, very long lines, apparently, because it's a big place. The next gas giant out, which is the only other gas giant in the system, fittingly enough, is Bombaro, I think is the name of it. I've suddenly forgotten it. And it has an extremely turbulent atmosphere. It's just as useful for refueling, but it is very, very dangerous to try to do any fuel scooping there because of the turbulence. So if you don't want to wait in line at Walleye, you go over to the other planet and you risk everything to try to pick up some fuel.
Let me ask about the science here. Maybe you guys might know, or you can throw in your opinion. The reason you're using these fans to compress it down is because if you were to fly through it with your ship, it wouldn't explode the entire nebula because it's so space spread out. Like it would make your engine maybe burn a little hotter, but it's not like going to explode. So that's why you drive through it to collect the gas long enough to compress it down to where it's usable for your tank. Does that sound about right?
I couldn't honestly
there's
come
a
out on
density
the science, but
there has to be a density. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that. I mean, I'm sure the science is soft in a lot of places, but it's okay. It's sci-fi.
It's in the future. It's magic. Magic gases.
Real-land attack on field.
Yeah. Get the warp core and induction going.
Purge DPS manifolds.
Invent a new element. That's the best way to do things.
That's what they probably should do, and say it only works under compression. If you light it when it's out in space, it doesn't burn.
It's like a diesel engine. I mean, from my understanding is, at normal atmospheric pressure, diesel fumes, they're just not that volatile.
They won't burn. Yeah,
but you compress them and they become highly volatile.
Yep.
And it would basically be the same thing. I mean, a nebula won't explode, but you compress it down into a star and it reaches a critical point where, its mass is so dense that it ignites.
Good point. Think of it like diesel fuel. That's a great analogy. Because even gasoline, that doesn't work the same way as diesel fuel does, but diesel fuel becomes extremely volatile when you compress it under heat. So, EPS manifold. Sorry, that was a bit of a Star Trek.
Which stands for?
I don't know.
Emergency power systems.
Emergency power systems.
Or propulsion. Not sure.
Is that on? That's on Voyager, right?
All of the starships use EPS.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I think it's energized plasma stream.
Oh.
Excuse me.
I think that's what it is.
We're just going off on left field here.
Yeah.
This is fine. So, what do you guys think about the refueling in space? What's your opinions of it there, Mr. Pancakes?
Yeah, I like the idea of the gas giants and collecting your gas via that. So, I would, however, like to see more of a sort of you having like monopolized fuels in, further into Empire space. You would obviously gas would be much more expensive because they might have a monopoly on it. Whereas if you're out on the fringe worlds, it also might be expensive because it's hard to get. But then if you're in some alien space and they're super capitalist, then you can get it for pretty cheap.
But these are options mostly for I would think for explorers. Like you're way out in space and you've got no way to refuel and you want to keep exploring. The only thing you can do is drive through a nebula and compress some of that gas down and refill your tank up a little bit.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, propellant or fuel will only play a very large part in racing, dogfighting and wanting to fly fast. Because
Afterburners.
regardless of whether or not you have fuel, your thrusters can still bring you up to cruise speed.
Right.
Exactly. You won't need to continuously consume fuel because there's no air resistance.
Exactly. You know, once you get the inertia built up, you're going to keep traveling at that speed unless you're meeting another opposing force to slow you down.
Exactly.
So that's why they just did send a ship up recently with ion drive. And I'm talking real life. With a real life.
Real life?
Yeah, it's amazing. And
what's this DLC?
I didn't download it, but apparently this thing can run for I think 25 years at full throttle, and because it's expelling ions out, and it just continually speeds up. It takes a long ass time to get up to full speed, but
it would take a long ass time to stop too.
That's true too.
Large rocks. Let's stop.
Yeah, that would speed up the deceleration quite a bit.
Sir Hammer says, "None of this is within my knowledge, man. Where do the horses go?"
Space horses.
Well, we were thinking
herd some cattle.
Space cattle. Yeah.
There you go.
And space cattle would lead off a lot of methane, and then they would give you places to refuel.
Now, to address, or not address, but to respond to what you were saying about, as you get towards the core of the empire and everything, things getting more expensive because they have a greater monopoly on it. The reverse could also be true. Since we've been expanding from this point, we have constantly been consuming all of the fuel that's in this area. And so it could get to a point that once we've expanded to a given point, there's no fuel left in the middle anymore. And we have to go to the outer areas. So fuel would become very, very expensive the closer you got to the center of the core. So either thing has potential.
And we could start... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as for refueling in a nebula, the density might be too low. You would probably have to spend a tremendous amount of time. That's why gas giants have a much higher density than nebulas do, and it would be much more efficient to do it there. But then you have to skim the atmosphere. That's a little dangerous.
What's up, Core?
Sorry, you heard an alarm noise.
Oh, that's okay. That was a science alarm. We were doing massive science at this point.
Speaking of science,
yes.
The best way to collect methane, lactose intolerant cows.
Wow.
But cows don't drink milk. Cows drink water.
Well, you just cannibalize, feed
That's
them.
why they don't drink milk, because they're lactose
They're all lactose intolerant, yeah. Real quick, you were talking about things in the center kind of burning out. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, right? And unless you're talking about dark matter, but we won't go there. But the sun uses it. And there is a point where all the hydrogen in the universe will burn out at some point.
Right.
So it's all going to end, folks. Doom and gloom. Yes. We're talking about 20, 30 trillion years from now, but just it's going to end at some point.
I've got things to do for a little while, but I mean, I don't have anything planned for that point.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, actually, Trendane, building off what you were saying, what could end up happening is that since we burned out all the fuel in the center, and we've consumed these gas giants, what would happen if we start pushing into, say, Banu or Xi'an territory to try and, because we're so desperate for fuel, and then you start some sort of, I don't know, interracial oil wars or something, It's I think that'd be kind of interesting if the hunt for resources becomes galactic.
Yeah. It could be an expansion in the future. Who knows?
That would be a ways off. And one of the things that came to mind earlier is that somebody was mentioning, it's like, oh, what if we're over, we're heading into Van Duel space. I'm like, I want a 3D star map that lays out all the territories so I know where everything is, because right now I have no idea where the Van Duel are relative to
there's a guy who did do a 3D map. It's really really nice. I don't have a link available right this second because I didn't think it was going to come up tonight. You want to find it there, Mr. Core, and pop it in the chat? That would be fantastic. But yes, so Trendane, there is a guy who did it, and it's great. You can spin it around and look at it, figure out where all the different sections of space are. And now that you're doing all of these audio books or narrations of these books, it's probably going to mean more to you now that you'll know this stuff a lot better than most people.
Just because it takes me 6 hours to make 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Trendane and I are talking. We're going to figure out a way to get this on video on Trendane's channel so that you guys can watch the podcasts. Maybe it'll just be space flying in the background or something, but we'll put it there with a background and then it'll be closed captioned.
That's not the ultimate dream, though.
No. What is the ultimate dream?
The ultimate dream is that you can choose to have me be the voice of the AI in your ship. So you're
go.
Shit, I'm coming up on the Kylian system. I've never been here before. Tell me what's up with the Kylian system. And then it just plays my recording of the Kylian system and what each planet is and everything else. And then you put it on your Moby Glass because everybody seems to love the Moby Glass and the design. It's
Cloud Imperium
it's just
Games.
The same thing every year.
Cloud Imperium Games, if you are listening, Trendane wants to be the voice of the ship's AI.
one of the voices.
One of the voices.
There should probably be a couple of options.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Where do you want me to put the link?
Just put it in chat, and then I'll copy and put it in here.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
But if you want to watch or read, oh, damn it, hear the narrations, if you look on the forums in the general chat section, I'm still not sure why I put it there, but you can either find it there.
It's buried right now.
Yeah, it's buried. Or you can go to the ComChat, Comlink comments is the section, and or just from the front page in the search bar, put in Galaxy Guide, and it'll bring up all the Galaxy Guides. And right now I have the ones for the hangars, the hangar manufacturers, and for the Ellis system, the two that I've done so far. So you'll have to dig through the feedback at the bottom of the page, but you'll find them. They're down there.
There we go. I put a little link down below there.
Arcloud.
You guys can look at it later. And I'll also be in the chat. Not the chat. We will have this video uploaded on all of our channels later on, and it'll be in the description below the video.
Really great.
Yeah, okay. I'll get this worked out. All right, so that's it for that topic. Everybody, remember, we're looking for we're looking for your questions for question answer time. So brackets. No, please leave your questions in the chat. Type in. Somebody do an example for us. Question.
Oh, I thought I was like, I just did that.
There we go. Question. Like that. And you type in the question which you wanted to ask, and we'll cover it. All right, so topic number 3 is Hornet variants. All right. So who wants to take this one?
Well,
Core does, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. I just had to. Right, okay. So, the Hornet variants were promised to us last Friday. Instead, we got a LN, a little Aurora LN. Some of us were disappointed about this.
I saw some rage going on.
Some of us, yes.
There was some rage.
So they moved it back to Friday, this Friday. And what we're hoping to see, I mean, we all know the F7A is not going to be within our reach, unfortunately, because of the exclusivity of the military craft in Star Citizen.
Can you tell us real quick the difference between the F7A and the current variant?
Right. So currently there are two variants known to us. The F7A, which is the Army variant, which has the 2 ball turrets and the I think it's rotary turrets at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a really awesome ship because it has a better power drive, better power plant. I'm sorry, and all around, it's an amazing piece of machinery. Mm-hmm. Then we got the F7C, which a lot of people believed to be the F7A when they originally purchased it back in the Kickstarter, but were deceived because
my friends who purchased it like yesterday still thought that it was the F7A. I made fun of them a lot. You'll be glad to know.
They're like, yeah, we got this killer ship, but still a good ship though.
Yeah.
So they ended up melting those and getting something else instead, like a Freelancer or a Constellation. Mm-hmm. But the F7C, which does not feature the ball turret, which instead features a very, very boring cargo hold, which is exactly what I want on my dogfighter.
Yeah.
Because
Carrying
then I
all the
can
extra
scoop
weight.
up all the corpses of the people that I killed. But I could just strap them to my hood or to my ball turret. But anyway, my point is, the F-7C is the civilian version of the ship. It has a smaller power plant. It is more modular, however, so you can change more things on it. The weapons are slightly less. Like I said, the ball turret is gone, so that's 4 weapons. Class 3 weapons or Class 4 weapons? Just
Class 4? Pretty sure it's Class 4.
or it could be
The turret is class 4.
Sure, it is Class 4.
right. Okay, yeah,
And
Class
missiles
4.
3.
Yeah, so that means the 4 Class 4 weapons disappear, which make it go from a, super omnipotent dogfighter to, look, I can shoot guns out of the front of my ship just like everybody else. So yeah, we won't get that variant of the Hornets, unfortunately. But we're hoping that we will at least get a dogfighting Hornet, which may or may not feature, to a lesser extent, a ball turret. Of course, keeping in mind that it has a smaller power plant, therefore probably not 4 guns on it, but at least something to give it a little bit more dogfighting kick. And we're also hoping to see a racer variant with two main thrusters, because let's all be honest, that cargo space in the middle of the ship is just an absolute waste of space.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So, any of you guys have a Hornet right now?
I do have a Hornet right now.
You have a Hornet.
Hornet.
Now,
I heard it too.
what did I say? Did I say something else?
No, you said Hornet. It's just not what I heard.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Anyway, not my type of ship. It's a bit crowded in there. It's like it's a fighting ship, so it's really got you snug because you're gonna be doing a lot of maneuvering.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting ideas that it's sort of you can swap the turret for like a radar dome.
Oh yeah.
And make it AWACS,
Mm-hmm.
So and sort of just have
Be
it
like a scout?
I don't know. Yeah, like a scouting, like a dogfighting scouter or something. A scout that can defend itself pretty well.
Recon.
Yeah, it's a good idea. But they don't have jump drives, at least the current one, right?
They don't.
I think so.
You can buy jump drives.
Yeah, you can just
for 'em.
buy a jump drive. That's
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
I mean-
so
Just completely off topic.
Yeah.
Do not trust the ship specifications as they are currently listed under ship specs. They are outdated, they are wrong, and they should never be trusted.
Yeah, I did a whole video on I was reading off the specs and I got hammered. So, yeah. I'm not going to do any videos for quite some time on just the ships because it's going to be pretty bad. All right. Moving on.
Well, hang on. Since you mentioned getting a radar dome put in there,
Mm-hmm.
and mentioning specifically the AWACS, which you had that big, broad, flat, thing on the top. In space, of course, it would be a 3-dimensional radar imaging. So I wonder if it would have to look different.
like it would be in both directions.
It'd be a ball. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it would be
like
a
a spinning
sphere.
ball on. That'd look really stupid.
Nice
Yeah.
big
One
Hornet.
on the top and one on the bottom, because otherwise
like a
you're only
disco
getting
ball is
ones.
attached to the top of your ship.
I want to paint them red and white like a Pokemon ball.
A spinning ball on top of a spinning ball. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Gyroscopics would be all thrown all over the place. All right.
Physics. Well,
Hornet variant. There we go. Topic number 4 is going to be a good one tonight. We saved the best for the last. Now remember, we are going to have question and answer after this. And so right now, if you're still listening to this video, if you're watching this later on, have at me, because I know you want to. Yeah. Come at me, punk. What's up? We're going to talk about PvP and PvE, space bearers and ass rapiers. All right, so I have gone on the stance to say that I am a Care Bear, okay? I like to play... If I'm playing an MMO, I want it to be where I just go out, quest, have a nice quiet afternoon, do my thing, come back, drop my quest off, and just kind of have a quiet time. I don't want people shooting me all the time or stabbing me in the back or doing any kind of roguelike behavior around me.
I'm right there with you.
Right. And I do appreciate PvP, though. I really do. I played plenty of games where it's just PvP, and like if that's what the game's designed to do, I'm all for it. Like I was just playing World of Tanks the other day. You cannot quest in World of Tanks; you just kill stuff, right? So that I'm totally cool with if that's the way the game's designed. But there has been a huge fury on the forums, and they'll let the other guys talk about it. But I just want to put my opinion first. That have said that, you know, all the Care Bears need to die and the game should be all PvP, and there was actually a post with how to hunt PvEers and kill them before they can breed or something like that. So
there's not a problem with that with me anyway.
Exactly. You just leave Trendane alone. He's not hurting anybody. He's just a big space bear.
I didn't say that. I said I'm not a breeder.
Okay. Well, yeah, but he's a big. Look, he's got bear behind him and everything. He's a space bear. Anyway, so that's my opinion on it. Go ahead and talk about the wrath on the forums. I didn't actually read the whole thread, or threads, but it filled up the forums this week.
I think there are a few of us on this podcast who are decidedly not Care Bears.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's okay.
that's
what Trendane and I are on this side, and you guys are on that side, and
I do think that PvP has a place in the universe, but I think that it's more important to let people play the way they want to play. Mm-hmm. And if someone wants to do PvE and stay within, lawful space and just, have their own little game where they run, they're trying to have an impact on the economy, or they're flying missions for the UE or doing stuff like that. That's great. That's fine. That's the way they have fun. And we have lawless space for people who want more of an Eve-like experience, I guess, where, if you want to just like fly into a place and randomly get attacked by people who are trying to steal everything you own or be the one stealing things, then, more power to you. You can do whatever you want. I think that's what's really important. And I think the idea that, Care Bears need to go die, well, that's kind of dumb. I think the game is being built for everybody to have a solid, fun experience. And there was a post by Ben Lesnick that we were talking about before the show.
No, hold on. Wait. I'm sitting in the middle. We've got the
Care Bears.
We've got the two Care Bears on which side is this? Right, left, whatever. On one side, and we've got two PvPers on the left side. I'll do the Ben Lesnick stuff. So let's hear from Bill now.
Okay. Well, I like PvP, and I will definitely be out in all the space doing that kind of thing. What about you, Pancakes?
All right, here's what I say. So, if you're in like a theme park game like WoW, then being just a PvPer and like just having a game that's designed around that works a lot better, I feel, because you can just go out and have that afternoon where you just sit down and quest for a couple hours. In a game that's sandbox like this, I feel like the PvP sort of gives it like the tension. It's makes it more dangerous to play it, and you feel like you've got to watch your back every time you jump into a new system. So I definitely want there to be a fair amount of PvP going on. Not saying I'm gonna go kill random people. Nicer than that, but I feel like it will definitely help the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's emergent gameplay really is what's going to drive the experience. And I think that interacting with the AI is only going to go so far. Mm-hmm. And you need to have the player impact on other players is what really needs to be felt, not just the player impact on the world at large.
Right.
And another interesting part about that is if there were only PvEers, the game would eventually get boring to PvEers, because there is no. It's the uncertainty element that comes in. Players are highly sporadic. They make up their own minds. They make their own decisions, and if they go do something because they think it's the right thing to do, and they end up face to face against another group of people who thought they were just going to have a nice little cargo trip, stuff's going to happen, and tensions are going to rise, and tempers are going to flare, and nostrils will blow steam. And And that's the sort of situation that you can't get in a PvP only environment, or sorry, PvE only environment. And in a PvP only environment, you'll see that more, but at the same time, without actual PvEers, the PvPers would actually get upset, because if PvPers are constantly facing against only PvPers, they'll see how terrible they actually are at PvP. And this is like 50 to 80% of all the PvPers who think they're actually really good realize then that they aren't actually that good and will actually be the ones that complain the most. But again, let's not mix apples and oranges here. So Ben Lesnick came in to settle these disputes a couple of months ago. I don't know exactly when it was. And he wrote a post that detailed their vision for the game. Now, in Star Citizen, you're going to be outnumbered by 15 to 20 to 1 NPCs versus human players. So the persistent world is going to be, dominated by NPCs. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, they're going to be there. They're going to be in your face the entire time. And, in the 20 encounters or so that you'll have whilst flying, 19 of them will be NPCs and only one of them will be a player. So
the space is so big.
Yes, exactly. Now, these are all,
0.1% chance you will ever meet another ship.
The idea behind it is as follows: that you can trade with these corporations, you can strike deals, you can start bounty hunting for them, you can police for them, you can literally form a private military corporation, and maybe the NPCs will be advanced enough to say, I am waging corporate war against this corporation, and you have these two clans that kind of act as like the arms for these corporations and fight out these wars with other NPCs, and it could have some very interesting effects. To that effect is that what you'll see is that a lot of the time what the PvPers will, what they say they hate, right, is they will have a lot of interaction with NPCs, whether they like it or not, and they will be killing a lot of NPCs, whether they like it or not, because that's just the way that, the persistent universe is designed. Now, the uncertainty element is where it gets more interesting, is that they think, we're going to raid this PvE thing because, no one else comes through here. And then this entire group of human players, maybe Care Bears or maybe PvPers, comes in and, ruins their day and ruins their party, and then they go on the forums to whine. Chris Roberts has this vision of the way that Star Citizen is going to be in the persistent universe. And it doesn't matter what the PvPers want, it doesn't matter what the PvEers want. He's going to do it his way, and that's what we're going to have to deal with. The interesting part about all this is that they've said that PvP is an element that adds suspense, and they want to give players the freedom and the possibility to create events like you've heard about in EVE or in other games where persistent universes really matter. But at the same time, the game will not be designed solely for PvP. If you want only PvP, go to the arena or go to war with another alliance, and you'll see that you'll suddenly have a lot of PvPing to do.
Probably more than you want.
So I think Ben Lesnick kind of nailed it on the head when he came out with that post, and I think it's just good news. And that's what I had to say. I'm done now.
All right, back to your ice cream. What is it you're eating there?
This is a McFlurry.
Oh, awesome.
Oreo McFlurry?
No, this is M&M.
Okay.
I don't think they're allowed to sell Oreos in the European Union.
No, they are.
Oh,
They are. They're just not that great.
They're not that great. They have better cookies over there. I've heard from many people that our Oreos are a joke. All right, so got a bunch of questions coming in now. Mr. Pancakes, have you been gathering them up?
I have indeed.
Okay, great. As far as the one final thing, that's what it really all boils down to, is if you can enjoy the game, how you're going to play it, then go for it. If you really are a hardcore PvPer, you'll probably find something to do. If you're really a hardcore PvEer and you really can't stand being around other people go, well, why are you playing a multiplayer game? Well, maybe once in a while I want to talk to somebody, but maybe I want to be completely antisocial, get in my ship and take off in one direction and never look back. That's the way I like to play. Doesn't mean you have to like to play it that way. But that's what sandbox games are all about, right?
Start up your solo server and just...
That's
actually
the other thing.
myself.
We've never talked about that yet. Maybe we can bring that up as a topic for another time. But they're going to allow you to just set up your own server and mod the hell out of this game and make it like Gundam style or not Gundam style, Gundam. Make it a
I want to
Gundam
think
server.
about what that would look like.
Japanese, not Korean.
Right. We're gonna have little Korean guys jumping around with sunglasses on.
No,
Hey, sexy
all ships
lady.
look like that. That's what dogfighting is. Dogfighting is just breakdancing competitions.
Trunks just said
Space.
Star Trek mods. Yes, you can have your own Star Trek server if you want.
I had one more comment on
Yeah.
what I said was I forgot to add. We're also going to have these huge alien factions that at some
That's
point the
true, too.
players are going to have to deal with. I don't think the UEE will want any part in helping us with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, that's another thing to consider.
and with what you just mentioned, Domo, about just getting in a ship and taking off in a given direction, I think that's where my portion of the confusion comes in. Is that for me, if I am out, dozens, if not hundreds of light years away, how am I going to run into people that want to PvP with me? What are they?
They're hiding behind a rock, waiting for the past 6 months for somebody to come
Somebody
by.
get out there.
And then they're like, here he is. And the best part would be is if you had like a couple escorts to help you out, and then like they're hiding under your ship, and as soon as this one guy who's been sitting there for 6 months comes out and goes, aha, stand and deliver, you go, die, and then you just blast him.
So
And then he
one
starts
concern
screaming, "It's not fair."
Yeah.
that you have about having lots of NPCs in the universe is that our NPCs might not be nearly as strong as a player, and
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, unless they're using some amazing new AI that we haven't heard of yet, NPCs will never compare to a human player.
so that being said, I'm alright with them not being as skilled as a human pilot, but I don't want that to be through the AI just being dumb, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm sure they have some magic answer to it.
It really depends on how they design the AI, and at the end of the day, everyone's always going to agree AI cannot beat a human player unless it cheats.
Right.
And when it cheats, you can write it into the algorithm, the program, and it really doesn't matter all that much. But we've all seen what, for instance, in Supreme Commander, an AI with unlimited resources does. He instantly builds an entire base before you can even go, I assimilated that tree. We're going to see some gradation there. And maybe, the way to balance it out is that AI always come in more numerous numbers. Again, It is 20 to 1, It might be that all AI battles are going to be, you're in a constellation, you're looking at, like, the enemy. You're like, there's the... And... What? There's enemies!
100 all coming at you.
It's like that scene in Aliens. Hicks, hurry up! I know, I mean it. And there's dots coming. Ah!
Yeah. Game over, man. All right.
That'd be kind of cool.
Before we start the Q&A session, go ahead, finish up, Mr. Nerd.
I was going to say, it might be cool if you were just wandering through space and you came across two AI factions just doing battle in the middle of space.
That'd be awesome.
That would be cool, and figure out who do you want to support.
Or if you just want to ignore the battle. Or if you get, dragged into it.
Oh, that would be so cool. I don't think it has been discussed yet. But random encounters. Random encounters would be so awesome in the persistent universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know exactly how they would go about scripting them in unless they happen even without players there, but
Could happen.
I'd still want to see a lot of random encounters.
It's not that hard with instancing. I mean, you could always have a chance that, in a certain area, if two AI factions are already engaged in some sort of conflict, that the instance generates a battle, that you can join into.
Yep, no, great idea.
All right, well, we're going to take a little bit of a break, like a 5-minute break, and we'll come back for doing Q&A. So we will be right back, everybody. See you soon. All right, we're back. Sorry, everybody. My ears were starting to sweat.
Just his ears.
My poor wife is. She's over next to me, and she's in like a blanket, a robe, some shoes. She's all bundled up like it's.
Turn on the AC.
I had the AC going. It's hot. So then, what she did, she turned the heat on.
Oh, that's low.
So I'm out here going, okay, it's getting really warm. Is it just me? Am I like getting all worked up? I've never been all nervous being on a show or anything. This is weird. Why am I sweating? Oh, it's because it's 95 degrees in the room. That could be why. All right, so let's get back to the Q&A. Let me go ahead and change the title here so we actually are talking about Q&A. That's a pancake beard.
Not to be confused with Q&A.
All right, so go ahead, Mr. Pancakes. Start reading off the topics.
Okay, so our first question is about fuel consumption, I believe. Mm-hmm. And says, so will it operate like today's turbine engines, which compresses air and burns them with fuel to produce the jet blast? Except with this only compressed fuel, what kind of fuel will these ships use? Because then the fuel will either have to have a lot of air or other combustible substance.
Pass.
Oh, come on, Core. This is right up your alley here.
Right up your vent.
Yeah.
This is
right up your vent pipe.
Oh.
Do I look like a rocket scientist to you?
Yes.
They bring up
like
a good
one,
point. They bring up a good point because
maybe
they
like
need
maybe
some
like
sort
one of your
of gas for
dropped
combustion.
out.
Look.
But
Go ahead,
Nerds
nerd.
got it. Nerds got it.
Go ahead, Perfekt
okay,
Nerd.
they do need some sort of gas for combustion. And I have no idea. This is why I said that they're going to have to do some soft science work because if they want a combustion reaction, you need to have oxygen. Like that's just the way the chemistry works, as we know it. So, I mean, they might invent something, or they might use have some way of having like a plasma-based combustion reaction. They'll make something up. That's sort of the point. They want to make it convenient because the gameplay comes first, not the science.
Yeah.
Right.
And it is 900 years in the future, so who knows what we've found by then.
Right, exactly.
Is that it? Mr. Core, not going to say anything?
Okay.
You're in the middle. You have to say something.
No, I thought this was your thing. Didn't you just you helped Trendane out the other day with his fuel question? Was it you, or maybe it was Perfekt Nerd?
I know, but I did. I explained the mechanics in the game that were going to be how they were going to implement fuel and where it was going to come from. But when it came to actual rocket science and aviation and explosions in metal tubes that make things go forward, I'll pass.
All right, fair enough. All right, Mr. Pancakes, what's next?
All right. So, how do you think possible lifetime insurance scams can be prevented?
Are we talking?
Is that what LTI stands for?
Long-term insurance
Yes.
or lifetime?
Oh, okay.
Lifetime. I believe they'll build the system from the ground up, but this is pure speculation on my part. I think they'll build the system from the ground up to trace each and every UEC. This way you can see how large chunks of UEC are going to be distributed and where they keep coming back to. You can only do this if you build the system from the ground up to track each money thing. The problem that the modern day finances and economics has is that it can't trace what technically can't be traced. I mean, you can trace the serial number, but how many times are you going to see the serial number on someone when they pay? So I think the way that Star Citizen will handle, for instance, the way that money gets transferred and changes hands, is that it will keep a record of how that money has traveled. And that way they might have a better understanding in how to prevent and how to catch LTI fraud. That's my 2 cents.
So one of the things I think they could do is, make LTI fraud very possible, but just have it so that you don't get a full payout unless you have obvious evidence that your ship was entirely blown up.
Well, therein lies the problem. I mean, I know you, and I go, hey, take my ship from me, go park it somewhere, and I'll say it was stolen by a pirate.
Well, not stolen. Just like, your ship was destroyed with 3 missiles. I have the proof for it here. If stolen, you might only get half a payout. Whereas if it was entirely destroyed and you have photographic evidence, then you get.
But you might actually get it stolen. I mean, there could be a good chance that all the pirates.
That's what makes sort of the LTI a bit tougher. Is you have this nice, comfy pillow that you think is going to keep you safe, but well.
So what's half a payout though? Is it like half a ship?
Yeah, policy returns and percentage payouts only really apply to stuff where you're paying for the insurance. Because again, lifetime insurance always means you get back what breaks the entire thing. And not just half the thing and then go, oh, but if I accidentally get this stolen, then I only get half of that back. No, that's not how it's going to work.
So but then leaves it open for being scammed because
yes,
it's an all or nothing deal.
In the event that they decide, and they might go this way, where they don't pay out UEC or with the lifetime ships, what you're going to get is you're going to get the ship back the way that you get it back. Of course,
no guns, no upgrades.
No. The way that you bought it from the shop at the time it had LTI.
Okay.
So let's say an Idris M is a variant of the Idris P, but it comes with the big railgun. If your Idris M blows up, it comes back with the railgun.
Oh yeah.
If your Idris P blows up, you don't get the railgun because it never had the railgun.
But if you had the Idris P and you upgraded it to the railgun because you saved up your pennies and
downgraded it to the railgun, then if it gets blown up, you get the P back without the railgun.
I see. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So the way to prevent fraud would be to track where that ship goes, how it gets scrubbed, and where it eventually ends up, and who makes money off of it. That's why I started from the perspective of where the money comes and goes, because eventually, let's say the ship gets stolen. The ship's going to get scrubbed. Eventually, the ship's going to get sold, and there's going to be money involved. This money, if that somehow makes it back, or to either the person or a person that person interacts a lot with, it becomes a lot easier to discern the circle of, okay, my ship gets stolen to here. All right, he sells it there. Okay, he gets money for it. All right, he spends that money. No, he doesn't. Wait, actually, he gives it to that guy, and that guy gives it to that. Oh, wait, we've come full circle. The money is returned back to the original owner. LTI.
So there needs to be a white collar crime division or something.
Yeah, there's going to have to be.
So what you're going to have to do is every ship you own, you're going to have to get basically between star installed, and then they can track it with that.
Mm-hmm. Low jack.
Yes.
High jack.
Mid jack.
Phone jack.
Star jack.
All right.
Not Star Jack. I think that was actually a movie. It was a horrible movie.
No, it's Free Jack you're thinking with...
No, that was not a space movie. That was with Rod Stewart. Not Rod Stewart.
No.
Rod
Mick
Stewart
Jagger.
in space.
Mick Jagger. I always confuse him and Rod Stewart.
Yeah,
they look so much
just alike.
Yeah, because they look pretty much the same, right?
Nothing moves like Stewart. Go ahead, Mr. Pancakes.
All right. Star Citizen is at $22 million, which is...
Amazing.
22 million and 78% to 23 million. So at what point will they say they have enough money to complete the game?
Never.
Precisely.
Because, sorry, I'm taking this one first again.
Go ahead, go for
yeah.
I just said never.
They're never gonna say we have enough money now, because they want to continue developing the game even after it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And if the well dries up because people stop giving money, then there's going to have to be a line in the production where they say, okay, well, we can't make any more because we don't have any more money.
Right.
But if they keep getting money, they can create more and more content. And hopefully there isn't a point where we get diminishing returns in terms of...
good stuff.
Good stuff, exactly.
Right.
Because, for instance, I thought Infinite Realities was a diminishing return, but then they came out with the public transport system after that, and I was like, okay, that's fine.
But space boobies.
But we won't get the boobies from Infinite Realities into the game. We get the faces without the boobies.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
oh well.
So the other factor is not just future innovation, but there's also cost of maintenance, maintaining what's already there.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll want money to keep coming in anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that they ever will go, guys, stop. Stop. Don't give us any more money. It's just a bet. We don't know what we're
Take
going to
my
do
money.
with it. Yeah.
No, we don't want it anymore.
We don't.
Money's
We're
so
just.
passive.
I'm sitting on a pile over here, and I got this pile over here, and I can't even get to my desk because there's just all this money piled up. That's never going to happen.
The only way I could see them saying no is if they suddenly turn into a non-profit organization, but I don't see that happening.
Even nonprofits keep taking money in.
Yes, they do.
So yeah,
Unless it comes from oil companies.
yeah, I don't see them stopping. So, next question, Mr. Pancakes.
Right. What about mindless PvP between one or two groups of players from different corporations that ends in a galactic-wide war? Would that kind of PvP? Oh, would that kind of escalation with PvP be welcome in the verse?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure it would be.
I'd say
so.
yes. Yeah.
I would avoid it like the plague, but yeah.
The only thing I hope for is that when I accidentally go flying over to Krell space, I don't start an intergalactic war between all the NPCs. I mean, sorry guys, I kind of ruined it for the rest of you.
That brings trolling to a whole new level.
Galactic trolling.
Galactic trolling.
Whoops!
Because let's be fair, the Xeon have said that we are under no circumstances allowed to make contact with the Krell because it's their holy something. So if we were to send a small fleet, fully armed with cloak, go there, and then once we get there, decloak, and the Xeon are aware of our presence, what kind of repercussions would that have on the galaxy? I wonder.
Somebody's doing that on day one.
Guarantee it.
Somebody's
They're
going to do
taking-
that on day one.
They're gonna
Hi,
call
guys!
it the core tactic.
National politics.
They decloak and say, "Hey, the Shion said you're a dick."
Now, how do you explain that in fiction? Because for centuries before this, that's never happened, and nobody's ever thought to do that. All of a sudden, you introduce the real what happened to human beings that all of a sudden half of the population became trolls.
Internet
Going
dicks.
well.
Day one Xeon war, I guarantee.
The internet dicks happened. That's what happened. Up to this point, it was all just in his head. It was a fantasy, and then it's like, no, dude, we're dicks.
I mean, if anyone ever played EverQuest, it's like just waking up the sleeper and just going, "Hi, bye, guys."
Exactly. There's some bad people out there if they get the chance to be that way. And that's actually, as a quick thing aside, is Grand Theft Auto. It's really, really popular. It's like the number one game so far on Raptor. Every week keeps popping up number one game, of course. And it makes you say, well, what does that say about us as humans? That we could be that screwed up, that we run over hookers and kill nuns and stuff.
You got to remember that it's a gaming environment. I mean, you get to live out your fantasies that you can't live out in real life. So, I mean, if you had a game where you sat behind a desk and did your tax returns, I don't think a hell of a lot of people would play that.
Mm-mm. Trendane's looking wistfully up in the ceiling. He's thinking he might.
Reminded me of a comic in D&D magazine. It was a bunch of D&D heroes sitting around a table, and they were playing pay stubs and paychecks, I think.
I mean, it's exactly like it's an age-old argument, but it happens. It still comes into focus quite a few times, or has come into focus quite a few times over recent years, and that is, at what point does realism stop being fun? Because you've got these military simulators that go, this is realistic, and realistic bullet damage, and realistic this, and realistic. At one point, do you say, well, yeah, it's great that it's realistic, but it's also boring, because in space, if there were no sounds, like, I'm just flying around soundless, and they're shooting at me, and I exactly gotta hear the pew pews. And there are a lot of arguments and a lot of comments for where realism and the game kind of have to find that balance in between. Okay, I can relate to this, and it looks cool like it does in movies and my imagination, but at the same time go, yes, I can still run around and put a dildo on my head and have fun with it.
I can tell you exactly where that cutoff will happen.
Where?
Pain. As soon as you can feel pain in your video games, as soon as something like you get involved in PvP or something, and somebody hits you and it hurts you in real life, then consequence becomes a real thing that you have to take into account in your video games. As soon as pain becomes a factor, PvP will either drop off or it will radically increase, and we will see a resurgence of people like the Marquis de Sade going, "Oh, it's absolutely wonderful."
Yes. Come in this room. I have a lovely Iron Maiden for you.
Which brings up another interesting point. You described physical pain just now, but what about emotional pain? Like, for instance,
there's plenty of that.
Like, for instance,
I get that
like,
normally.
Like, for instance, in 2005, Murder Incorporated, a small-town little assassination clan called Guild of the Social Hand or something, decides to infiltrate UTQS or UQS, and takes it for $16,500 over a month, or a 12-month-long year infiltration type deal. Yeah. Like, how does that equate? I mean, it's real-life money. Is that real pain?
It would have a real-world impact on you.
Yes.
It would. And that would probably shut up a lot of people. I mean, and it actually kind of leads into our next question a little bit. There's a question about the Oculus, right, Bill?
Yeah.
It's coming up next.
Just what are your thoughts on the Oculus Rift?
Okay, yeah, so...
In general.
Love it. To death. I don't have one yet, but I'm waiting. For those who might not know what we're talking about, it's a VR headset, and I used to have the VFX1 back in the day. I got it at a garage sale for like $100 or something. But it was terrible. It was like 200 pixels each way, 200 by 200. And it could only do very minimal graphics. Now, and it wasn't 3D. It was just literally like two tiny monitors out in front of your face, and if you looked up, it moved with your face. Now, the Oculus Rift, though, is using the parallax stuttering effect so that the two monitors are just like the space apart from your two eyes. So when you're looking at things, it's actually in 3D, and it, of course, moves your head, and you have headphones on so that you can hear it three-dimensionally, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love an Oculus Rift. I mean, the ability to move and look around independently from your movement, for instance, with a keyboard or a mouse pad, I think is brilliant. However, here's the funny thing: about 30 to 40% of Oculus Rift users that also use a gamepad to move will instantly feel extremely sick and start vomiting all over the place due to motion sickness.
Oh yeah.
Which has raised the interesting question, should we be allowed to use joysticks and controllers in conjunction with an Oculus Rift? Because...
What about regular joysticks? Because they're on a desk, so your hands are in one spot, right? Yeah. So they don't move?
There needs to be some sort of breaking in, because you have to get over VR sickness. I mean, there has to be like a training period, right? And I think that it's up to the Oculus people or maybe the community that surrounds the Oculus Rift to develop some sort of training program, like a training game or simulation that helps you deal with and get over VR sickness. Because if you watch
immersion right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get over it, then you're gonna be sick, because that's how everybody's gonna be playing the game, with a joystick, mouse and keyboard, or with a gamepad.
That becomes our new diet plan.
Yeah. Get a bucket set it next to your thing. Oh, no, guys, I got to puke again. Take it off. Never personally myself.
Get off. Just lean over into the bucket. That way your perspective shifts down.
Oh.
And instead of the bucket, you see like.
And then you have a bucket, a VR bucket there.
A VR bucket for your, yeah.
Did I hit it? I don't know, but it got all over under the underside of my Oculus.
Exactly.
Gross.
It only matters in game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get motion sick, knock on wood.
It's actually interesting that people that experience this VR sickness don't experience it when they're just moving with the Oculus Rift. But when they're actually using like the look function on like, let's say you're using an Xbox controller. You use the left stick to move, you use the right stick to look. Now, if you're looking with your head, and it's fine. I mean, you're actually doing it like you would in real life. However, if you then even slightly touch the right analog stick that makes your vision move,
I see,
independently from your head, that's where the motion sickness comes from.
Right. That I think really comes down to design, because you've got to make it so that you feel as if your body is moving and not your head. You're just turning in place and your head is staying still, and your head, because if you can't make it like that, then yeah, it's going to feel like your head is like off in some weird location, and your body is moving independently of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be less of a problem with Star Citizen because it's a space sim, so you're in a cockpit.
So you're going to be in a chair. So
right. So it's gonna feel like you're in a chair, and you're gonna whatchamacallit? You're gonna be using a joystick or whatever to control the ship, which is what it's gonna look like in the Rift. You're gonna see your hands on the joystick.
And you don't need to use the top hat to move your look around. You just move your head. If you want to look out the window, you just turn your head that way.
But that's not all the game is. It's
no,
not
there
exclusively
is
being in the cockpit. So what about the rest of it?
There is a company right now working. I saw a thing from Comic-Con or somewhere. They just did really very recently. They use a Sony Move controller that they strap to your back, and then they have like one on top of your head, which looks great. And then you got the Oculus Rift on, the headset and everything like that, and then they have the two little nunchuck controllers from a Wii, and you move around. And it can track your body in full 3-dimensional space. It's almost like a track IR, which tracks the way your head moves while you're having to wear an Oculus. So if you're playing a World War II fighter game or something like that, you want to look out the window, you can just turn your head and a track IR tracks where your head's tilted. But this is for your whole body. And they say that they can make it for right around $150 once they finally get it released. So that's crazy. You might actually have to stand up and move around to play your game.
Damn it! I just spent $150. Well, $250 on a Retaliator. Now I can't buy that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a couple years. So
at least
Rift is
first.
Have you heard about Oculus's treadmill?
Yes, I've seen that, but it's noisy as all hell.
Yeah.
I also disapprove of it because if I could run as fast as my character and for as long, would not be playing video games
need
right now.
that game, Bill. I'm pancakes. I need that game. I need to be standing up and going, hold on, I'll catch you a second.
Gotta farm out the next quest.
FPS battles would be completely ridiculous.
It'd be freaking hilarious to see the COD players suddenly slow down to a crawl.
So we don't have to worry about fuel at all. We just set up a hamster wheel in the cockpit.
Yes. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Trendane, but basically it's a spoon. It's like a bowl that you stand on, and it's got all these. There's like 100 little wheels on each.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh yeah, you just run on.
It's like those things that babies sit on.
Yeah.
And you like spin around.
They need to make the ring bigger. I don't think I could fit in that thing.
I couldn't.
And then but I think it'd be great. It's actually cool to think about that you could actually exercise by playing a video game.
Isn't it called like an Omnitrack or something?
Yep.
Like that?
But you can only video game for very short periods of time when you start out. And then you have to build up to playing more.
And then you start seeing professional video gamers, or like they look like bodybuilders,
Or Koreans.
or Koreans.
Yeah.
But then we got to realize, guys. Then come on, let's bring it down a little bit and let's say steroids, juicing,
or boil
all these performance enhancing drugs and
boil down just says these cheaters hooked up a motor to their treadmill hackers.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That would be so disconcerting.
I know, right? Damn it! I actually ran from this room to that room. You lazy
You're a real gamer.
Yeah, cheated.
Bet you only play QTE games.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, what's next? That's cool though.
All right. Will the AI adapt to your tactics, say, like the Borg?
So, like, you shoot at him once, and the missile goes through, but the second time you shoot, the shields can defend it.
I guess so. Or like just if the AI has experienced the same, maneuver over multiple different encounters, then it would, I guess, learn a way to not get hit by that.
That sounds very Storybricksy, and I don't think they're even talking about using Storybricks in this game.
Or maybe you have a tendency to fire and always turn right.
Right.
After firing or whatever.
That would be a stretch goal I would be really, really interested in. Storybricks. Because if they could pull that into this game, that would be incredible.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it would be really ridiculous.
Where would you put it in the stretch goals?
Next,
the sooner
25,
you can get it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25, 30, something like that, somewhere around there probably.
Because that's not the sort of thing you just tack on later.
Yeah, that's going to be ridiculously difficult to program in. And I mean, that's something you design for from the ground up, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, they make it to where it is just it's a really kind of like block interface. That's why it's called bricks. These little bricks, and they can build how each AI reacts to each individual scenario. But you're right. I don't even know if they've even started with any AI yet.
Oh, they got the fish.
The fish.
We got a fish. Yeah. Forget story bricks.
The fish that like turning like this.
Yes.
Yeah, I stared at them for a while. And I'm like, what?
It's a space fish. You got to figure it's going to turn a little differently than normal fish here on Earth.
It's in Earth water. I mean, it should act like...
Is it?
No, that could be ammonia.
It could be. Yeah, they got it from Titan. Some methane.
And there's lots of sea creatures on... oh crap! What's the name of the planet in the yellow system? Damn it!
Somebody the other day they were going to put up a 12-hour live stream of the fish tank, and apparently it got taken down for copyright violation.
By who?
What?
I don't know, but that's a fantastic idea.
It'd be like the Yule log for Star Citizen.
Right? Why not? If you don't have a fish tank in your thing, somebody might want to watch it for 25 hours. All right, Bill, what's next?
All right. They say they simulate the systems. How would you determine velocity, direction, and heading when heading out into space without a pilot system for ram air or a static port? Would you also not have a magnetic compass when out in space, right?
No.
You would not have a magnetic compass.
There's
no magnetic field.
There's no magnetic fields, and if there were, they're going to point differently in every system you go into because it's always going to point at the highest level of magnetism, which will be the
And if
star.
you go to do a nebula, it's going to blow up.
All over the place.
Keto system, sorry, my bad.
I believe you'd probably have accelerometers that could measure how far you've gone in one particular direction, and you could use that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely a way to determine velocity. I mean, you would. I mean, I assume that their computation is advanced enough, 900 years into the future or whatever, that they can determine how much thrust that you've used, how much acceleration, and the physics equations are going to operate. They're operating on Newtonian level since you're not small particles, so they can still use stuff like V equals V naught plus AT and V squared equals V naught T plus 1/2 AT squared. All those basic physics equations are still going to apply. So all they have to do is plug those in and just plug in.
And like Morschstack just said, they're going to have all the stars out there that you'll be able to plot your course against, just like they did in the olden sailing days, the Trident.
But you'd be doing it three-dimensionally.
Yeah, but that makes it actually easier in a way, because then you can triangulate your position. If you know there's three things out there in space that you know are a set location, you can then triangulate yourself from that. You don't even need accelerometers or anything.
As long as your library is
up to date, and they haven't had a supernova or something recently.
And I think aren't corrupted.
Mm-hmm. There you go, kids. Update your software systems.
Yeah,
keep yourself safe.
It would also be interesting if they were going to have a compass. I think it would have to be either photonic, and that would get thrown off by any kind of space dust. You go into a nebula, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. But a gravitic compass that always pointed toward galactic center, that could be useful.
Yeah, and there's also right now in the audience we have Odekin, but he's a pilot. He's learning right now how to pilot. He's getting his pilot license. And there's things called VOR, which is a radio signal that always tells you want to point at a particular spot. You set your VOR up for that frequency and you point right at it. And that way, when you're in the air flying around, you can point your ship at that. So you could always have something, say, pointing at galactic center. And that's that VOR frequency. You just dial it in on your knob, and here you go.
That would be really useful.
So yeah,
I think that it'd be really also pretty useful to have your velocity and position relative to other planets in the system that you're in, so you can say how fast am I approaching or going away from these planets. So you can figure out, okay, I'm actually heading towards this planet right now. So it's not just that you have a compass that points towards galactic center, so you know where you are relative to the entire galaxy, but also where you are relative in that system.
Mm-hmm.
And also the orientation of the system, because galactic center might be this way, but the plane of the ecliptic of the system you're in is like this.
Exactly.
So you go from one system and you come in, and it's like, wait a minute, shit, I got to go this way if I want to.
Yeah.
Because all the planets are orbiting this way.
Right, because if you just go this way, you're not going to run into anything because you're going to exit the system.
Because you hit it at an obtuse angle.
Yes.
Wow, this is complicated.
Yeah, very, right?
Yes, it is.
I did start saying this is basically just rocket science. I mean,
It is. It really is, and it's going to take quite a bit. As a matter of fact, it would be kind of cool to see that maybe you could learn these skills through playing the game. You know, some basic math.
School simulator.
School simulator.
I'll be happy. I'll be happy if my fucking speedometer and my accelerometer and all my other ometers just tell me where I'm going. I'll be happy with that. I don't need to know how it works, really.
I'm pretty sure that what they'll end up doing, or at least this is, I think what they should do, is that for known systems that have been really well mapped out, that all of that data is already integrated into your nav computer, so it makes it really easy to go between systems. But for explorers, they're going to have to rely on a lot more kind of off-the-cuff thinking and sort of calculations, and they'll have to have maybe special modules in their nav computers to help deal with some of the more complex calculations of, you know, directions and angular velocity and all that kind of stuff.
It's actually really interesting. I mean, a lot of people probably know what DayZ is. It was interesting to see gamers for the first time being introduced into like a survival-like environment with a compass and with a real sun, and where, you know, everything moved the way it does in real life. And they don't have a map, they don't have a compass, they don't have any of these things, and go, where am I going? I have no clue where anything is. There's only forest.
Where's my double jump?
And you like have to go on the internet to find out, okay, well, if the sun in the shade and it's that long, and oh, that's east, I'm going that way. And, you know, all these kind of little things that you have to learn in order to play like the survival realism game might be the same way here in Star Citizen for the explorers, at least.
Yeah.
All right, move on to the next one, Bill. I think we got a bunch more, don't we?
I got a couple. All right, so this is one that I find pretty interesting.
I'm just trying to keep moving because we're already at 8:30.
Would you be in favor of spending a future stretch goal on having like obsolete starships that NPCs could fly initially? So like, you know, the model from 10 years ago that they bought used.
Sort of like an old Firefly class?
That would make perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I would be all for that, especially if I could steal it and put it in an antique museum.
Precisely.
See you, Giroux. Sorry, Giroux just left. Yeah, it's... I'd be for that, yeah. It's, you know, the further stretch goes, they haven't listed anything yet, but...
Yeah.
I think in the background they are working on these NPC ships. I mean, they might not have given them as many articulation points or as many polygons as the ships that we currently see in our hangars, because they're polished again. But I think they've given them a basic outline and a basic 3D model and gone, this is what it's going to look like. We'll figure out how it actually fits in later, because no one can pledge for it, so they don't need to see it now. I think that's kind of how they're treating that.
Yeah, they don't need to rig or animate any of that stuff right now. I mean, this is pointless.
No. Yep.
Should do that. At least one team should do that for the next great Starship entry. Make some old junker. That would be awesome.
Works for me. Yep. All right, what's next?
Okay, I know that the game will have Oculus Rift support, but for those of us who only have Track IR and not the Rift, will we have Track IR support?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
It's been mentioned. It's been mentioned.
Track IR, for those who might not know what we're talking about, it's a little thing you actually wear on a baseball hat, and it has a light here, here, and here, like one on top, and it can track the way your head turns. So you can literally just move your head around, and it can track the location of where you're looking.
It does the it works on the same principle as the Oculus Rift, except it doesn't. You know, it's not on your face, and you're not seeing 3D. It's just moving your camera with your head. Literally.
So if you got 3 monitors, though, you could use it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So our last one we have here is: what is the point of exploring when everything is connected by jump gates?
Not everything's connected by jump gates.
New jump gates.
Yeah, you want to find new jump gates. As a matter of fact, they said if you find someplace new, you can name it whatever you want.
Yep.
So
which is gonna suck if the troll finds it.
Yes.
And trolls are doing it.
Captain Penis Man.
They're probably going to have some limits on that.
Yeah,
They've got
they probably
to.
will.
Now, I presume they're not jump gates. I mean, everybody's referred to jump points and stuff. So are these like Lagrange points where the gravity well happens to be just right to move from one system to another? What exactly are these jump points, and what will they look like?
They're supposed to be Einstein-Rosenberg bridge, right?
Yeah,
right. That's what they're supposed to be.
They're supposed to be Einstein-Rosen-Podolsky bridges, also known as wormhole gates.
Also known as bullshit.
Yeah,
It's magic. It's in the future. It's magic.
Yeah.
Remember, these things have been used to describe black holes, like in sci-fi 40 years ago, but they've also been used to travel through time from one planet to the next, and also parallel universes. So, yes, Einstein-Rosen-Podolsky bridges are absolute bullshit.
Just as long as it is that, like, Star Trek parallel universe, as long as I don't have to go there, I'm fine.
You don't want to have a beard, isn't it? That's your problem.
I think he's anti-beard. Join the Rikers.
So we know which universe you're from, mister.
The non-bearded Riker universe.
Hey, that's the one in episode 78.
We got you got another one here.
Do you think we will have space pets on your ship or animals in space, i.e. tribbles, aliens, ship pets, or houseplants?
We already know that they've commented heavily on ship customization, and way back during the Kickstarter, they promised us, I'm not sure if they are still going to, they promised us at least a little hula hoop girl, or a robot, or all the little things that you would put in your car, like dice on the mirror, and all that stuff. They want to at least bring that in, and that's why they've focused on putting a workbench in your hangar or a fish tank, or to kind of personalize it. And they're going to do the exact same thing with your spaceship, especially with the interior. And here, this brings another interesting thing. We've already touched on it a few times in in other podcasts, and that is the outside customization of your ship, how it's represented. I mean, how much freedom are we going to have there?
Oh, I hope a lot. I want to put a big sticker on the side of my ship.
Of a penis.
Of a penis. Of a domo penis.
I agree with Odekin. Actually, I want a little herb garden that sits on the front window in my cockpit.
Why not?
So that I can just go out near a star and just, here you go, guys, go ahead. And then I'll just clip some rosemary off, because a man can survive from here till Judgment Day if he has enough rosemary.
Mm-hmm. Rosemary, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
I can see Trendane with his whole dashboard's full of little plants and stuff, and it's it looks like a Winnebago dashboard covered up with little styrofoam boxes and plants and herbs and stuff growing up there.
Then the gravity turns off and they start growing in every direction instead of just
Oh my god.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I do want a space hamster.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to do with that space hamster.
You're just in your Hornet.
Richard Gere stays away from it.
Yes.
You're just in your Hornet instead of a hamster sitting on your lap. All right, buddy.
Ultra pee-pee.
Better than a cat, because a cat's just going to destroy everything. Yeah. He's just going to, when you're in the middle of a dogfight, he's just going to wander and stick his butt in your face.
Or grab onto your head with all of his claws.
It's just press your death button.
And you're trying to dogfight and this cat's stuck to your head.
That's when you just strap in, you turn off the gravity and just go.
The cat's just floating around.
Screaming. Throw him out into space.
Finally gets into the berth and just sinks his claws into the fabric. It's just
That's actually interesting. I wonder which animals would go insane from lack of gravity.
House flies.
Yeah, no gyro stabilizers.
Well, they did experiments with them on the space station. That houseflies couldn't conceive of zero gravity, and so they would constantly try to fly from one surface to another and would wind up slamming themselves all over the place. Butterflies, on the other hand, figured it out, and they would just push off and drift to the other side, and then they would just figure out their rotation vector. Dink.
So butterflies are much smarter than houseflies.
Absolutely.
Who'd have thought?
It's very cool.
Cats would be awesome, though.
Learn something new.
Cats in zero gravity. They would be freaking out the entire time.
Oh, absolutely.
What about during a boarding action? You board the ship, and instead of actually setting foot on the ship, you just grab this box, open it, and kick the box, and all these cats go flying everywhere. Claws spinning. Ah!
It's called the Schrodinger attack.
You can repel borders the same way. They open the thing and you just throw cats at them.
All right. Well, I think we've definitely jumped the shark.
There you go.
Do we have any more stuff? I think that's it, right?
That's it. Besides the idea to have sloths instead of cats.
Well, there you go. That'd be a good idea.
It would take forever to repel borders that way.
Go get them.
All right, Pancakes.
Soon.
Tell us about your YouTube, Twitter, anything. Where are you? Where can people find you if they want to?
I live under a rock.
He lives on.
But you should check out the Brozone layer on YouTube for all your StarCraft 2 commentating.
Yeah.
It's not me, but you should still
your
check
brother.
it out.
It's your brother.
It's my brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Brozone layer. SC2.
Brozone layer.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of ozone.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Perfekt Nerd?
You can find me on Twitter at Perfekt Nerd, and you can find me on YouTube at Perfekt_SC. I'm doing some Hearthstone stuff as well as uploading some Star Citizen content. So
Do you have a key?
yes, I have a key. I've had a key for a while now. So
You man,
Decided
do
to
you
make
have a
some videos.
spare?
Yeah. Do you have a spare one? We're also jealous. We're sitting here going,
I'm nowhere near important enough for them to send me spare keys.
oh, well.
I know a lot of people are salty that they haven't gotten Hearthstone beta invites. I was pretty salty for a while. So I
But
understand.
you finally got it.
Yes, I did.
It's because they hate rogues.
They do.
I mean, come on.
That's why they nerfed them in that last batch.
They nerfed the hell out of them. I had a really great rogue spell deck, and they nerfed the hell out of it. It's still great for constructed, though. I gotta say, still great for constructed.
All right, Core.
All right, I am a Twitch streamer, and I've only recently started putting stuff on my YouTube. But my Twitch link was currently in the chat. I normally stream. I try and stream about 1 or 2 hours a day. Lately, it's been a little bit difficult because I'm getting married on November 15th.
Holy
So,
cow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Might make things difficult.
Might make things a little bit more difficult and my schedule a little bit more hectic, but I will definitely be here every Tuesday for the podcast because I love doing these, and I'm trying to expand my horizons and go into YouTube as well. So
Good. Very good. Congratulations. Didn't know that. All right, Trendane.
I'm just imagining him trying to do this and get married at the same time. Do you probably? Yeah. Hang on.
Jump drives. Jump drives. Yeah, we're going to talk about jump drives. Hold on.
I do, but hold on. Go ahead.
So as for me, Trendane, you can find me at Trendane just about everywhere. Let's see, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, even though I don't really stream anything. Although I did have somebody follow me on Twitch recently, and I'm like, thank you, but what are you doing here? It's not going to see anything. And he said, well, if you do, I'll be the first. I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's Trendane pretty much everywhere you go.
Yep. Awesome. And then I'm the Geekdomo. This video will be available on my channel and everybody's channel here. If they want it, they can upload it on their own channel so you can watch it on any of ours. And I'm going to make sure that the people will be able to click. So you can click each one of these pictures on the screen and it'll take you to their channel or the Brozone or whatever for Mr. Pancakes.
Brozone.
This guy over here and this guy over there. All right. Thanks, everybody. So we will see you all next week. Stay frosty out there in the verse.
Be careless.
See you later.
Watch
See ya.
six.
Have a good night, and thanks for being here, guys.
Yep. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah,
See
thanks a lot,
ya.
guys.
Bye-bye.